Do you love high-end decor, but not the price tag that goes along with that? Well, on today's episode, I've got 5 designer DIY projects that will rival their more expensive counterparts. But if DIY isn't your thing, I will also share with you some budget-friendly alternatives. So let's get started. Our first project is Pottery Barn's Woodbine Taper Centerpiece. That's a mouthful. It's almost kind of a tongue twister, but our DIY version of it is so convincing that you'll want to pocket the savings. So the first thing we're going to do is head out to the garage and cut some wood. But I promise you, I will walk you through it. Now it's time to start our Woodbine centerpiece. And you can see that I have this 4x4 post that looks like it is about to disintegrate. I actually got this on the discount clearance wood section at Home Depot. This whole entire post was $2, which really helps our budget because we only need 23 inches of it. And you can actually see that it already has some really good character right through here. If you were making a bunch of these, I would get an undamaged post. And this is a great gift idea, honestly. It's a really cute piece of decor. Let's figure out where we're gonna take the 23 inches from, and then we'll make a couple of really simple cuts. So we have this piece. And let's just see how much we have to work with. We've got a pretty big knot right here, and I would like to try to avoid that because that will just make drilling holes a little bit more difficult. So we have 32 inches to here. So let us make a mark. Okay, and let's see, 23 inches would put us right there, which also gets rid of that purple. So we'll cut here. We'll cut here, and this will be our 23-inch piece. I love this because on our inspiration piece, there was some kind of really deep roughness and cut. So let's go to the miter saw, and I will show you how simple it is to use. Using a miter saw is super simple, especially in this case because it's just 2 straight cuts that we're making. You want to protect your eyes, and these are my safety glasses that are super cute. They're ANSI certified, and they also have Blu-ray protection, and they're really, really cute. I'm gonna throw on just a simple face mask just to keep some of the dust from getting in my lungs. And then all we're gonna do is there's a release switch that you pull over, and then you grab on the trigger, and it turns on like that. And all we need to do is line up the blade with our line, and then we're gonna turn on this vacuum and make our cut. Okay, because of how thick this was, I just took it super, super slow. And especially if you're a beginner, taking it nice and slow is a good way to do it. Just keep your hands completely out of the way of the blade, and you should be just fine.
That's not scary, right?
And now we are left with one good piece, and we still have one more cut to make, and then we should be good to go. Okay, and we could actually hang on to this because that is a usable piece. We can just go ahead and trash this piece. No reason to keep it. Excuse the bins in the background. I just need some muscle to help me lift them to up above here. We were out of town, life got crazy. I haven't got it up, but hopefully we can do that like today or tomorrow. So in the meantime, it's in the background. Okay, so we've got our piece of wood here, and then I have like just an assortment of tools and like a chisel and a crowbar and a hammer. I've also got some chains. We are going to just beat this up and ding it up, see how that works, and make it look super, super old. So yeah, and we can even chisel some stuff off, and we are gonna just give this some age. Then we'll go over it with sander, especially around the edges. Time to sand it down a bit. We're gonna start by getting all these like markings that are stamps and stuff off. The one I was most concerned about is mostly off. In fact, we'll work, you can kind of see it a little bit, but we're gonna work on that a second. I am liking that a lot. Now we're gonna mark up where we are gonna do holes. On the side, there's like some metal strapping. I got this balsa wood, which is actually very, very soft. But basically, we're gonna wrap these around the sides and not around the bottom. We are gonna mark where we're gonna put this strapping, shall we call it. We're gonna put it right here. Do the same thing on this side. We're working within here to put our 10 candles. And then these are the little cups that I got. We're gonna spray paint them. Also just kind of eyeball them right now. And then we'll maybe evenly space them out. And it will probably be fine, but I am gonna try to do some kind of measurement. Center 1 inch in. It's either every 3 3/4 inch or every 3 1/2 inches. Okay, if we do it every 3 1/2 inches, we might have to do 2 inches in. We are going to measure. We're going to start 2 inches in. So now I'm gonna go get a boring bit that matches up with the width of the bottom of this. This is a Forstner bit. You could use a wood boring bit as well. This is just a really mean and larger drill bit to really bore out that hole. And this is my Athena drill by Aaliyah. This is my drill that I designed specifically for you ladies. What's awesome is it was really designed for a woman's hand. The trigger throw from here to here is smaller than it is on a man's drill, yet this drill lacks nothing for power. It's way awesome, and it's got a cute cheetah print handle and glitter in the plastic, and so it's just amazing, and we're gonna use it right now. We've got them all marked. We are gonna drill them out, and of course we're still gonna protect our eyes. So here we go. And we're gonna start slow, and then we'll give it more power. We're gonna make sure that it is deep enough, not quite. It needs to go a little bit deeper so that this can fit flush down. So, let's see if that one is deep enough. Okay, that is barely deep enough. There we go. Now let's do the rest of them. So I've got a couple of different stains here we're going to test out on one of the scrap pieces. This one's Special Walnut, and this one's Early American. We'll see which one looks a little closer to the inspo. So this is the piece that we're going to be discarding here, and this is Special Walnut. I think this might be really good. There wasn't like a ton of colors. Okay, so that's Special Walnut. Okay, and this is Early American. It's a little darker. I think it's gonna be the Special Walnut. That is a lot closer. Here we go, Early American. That is stinky. Make sure you do that outside or in a well-ventilated area. Okay, we are going to let that dry. Okay, we're going to be using this oil rubbed bronze, just the same finish that's on the other ones. Okay, that should be good. We'll let that dry and then we'll try to wrap that around our candle holder. So all of our pieces are done and dried and it's time to assemble. Now I just have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. So this wood is actually really soft. I could easily just snap it. It's like a basswood, and I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's really affordable, like $2 for this piece. So I just wanted to see if I could do a 45-degree cut using my miter shears, because that would be the simplest way to do it. But here's what happened to the edge. See that? Just basically ripped it to shreds. So that is not gonna work. We're gonna have to just do 90-degree straight cuts. What I think I'm gonna do is I think that I will do the top first and then we'll cover up the top edges by making the sides taller, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean. Also, our little cups are dry and we need to glue those into place. I am not gonna put a polyurethane on it because I don't think that it really needs it. But what we are gonna do is start by gluing in all of the candle cups, and then we'll put on our little finish trim here. So let's do it. I am going to take some of this heavy duty adhesive, and then I think I'm just gonna put some of the adhesive on the bottom of the cup and press each one of those down, and just put those down in the holes and let that dry. It will be perfect. So that looks really good. Honestly, I am thrilled with how that is looking. And now what we're gonna do is we will take our pencil and pencil mark our cut. See how that kind of has that exposed edge? We will fix that, I promise. So. There we go, looking good. It's been sitting and drying for a bit. Hopefully it dried well. Take off our tape. A little bit of sandpaper, smooth out these rough edges, just a touch. So we are gonna take our oil rubbed bronze paint, spray some into the cup. Then I have this little sponge brush. We're gonna tap that inside the cup that we just sprayed, and we are gonna tap that onto our exposed edges. And we've gotta work quick because that does tend to dry up quickly. Kind of hit the bottom. Honestly, it's gonna bug me. So we're gonna just do this, and maybe it will just look like a soldered joint, or maybe you won't even notice it when we're done. The project ended up amazing. I'm thrilled with the final result. It looks so much like the original at 10% of the cost. The original version was $99 and my version was just $10, which is 10% of the cost. And honestly, like, the end result is so convincing that, you know, why would you spend the extra amount? But it was such an easy project you could get done in a couple of hours. And so I am just thrilled with this end result. $100 does not include the candles. So I did get some candles on clearance at Hobby Lobby in just varying sizes to kind of get a similar look. And I am absolutely thrilled with the end result of this. But if you don't want to DIY yours, that's totally understandable. I did find this very close version on Amazon for just $25.99. So not quite as cheap as our DIY version, but you just click and buy. So if you're interested in that, I will link everything in the description box below. But the Amazon version has great reviews, but in my opinion, I'll stick with my DIY version for cost saving. I like the way mine looks, and I hope you like it too. All right, if you're enjoying this content and you love DIY and home decor, I have made a goal to hit 500,000 subscribers this year. If you enjoy this and you want to be part of the Design to the Nine family, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And then we've got all kinds of things coming, lots of exciting announcements that are to come, and I would love for you to join me. These next couple of projects are kind of like sister projects, and they are so adorable. When I first came across this, I fell in love, and I knew I had to DIY it because I was never gonna buy it. My inspiration pieces are the Paws and Claws collection. I don't know who makes it because I did find it on a couple of different websites. There was like a planter box that was about 6 inches by 12 inches, and that one was $120. Then I found the matching tissue box cover, and that one was $58. So really expensive, but really, really cute. I love the little lion head detail on it. If you've been watching my channel, you know I've got some lion heads out on the front of my house, on the base of the pillars. And so I wanted to bring some of that in. I loved the black, I loved the gold, and I just knew that we had to give it a try. So the first thing that we did is I found a box on Michaels. I also found on Michaels the tissue box that we're gonna use for the sister project. So this is the box I got from Michaels. I think you could probably find a box like this at a lot of craft stores, and it's the same dimensions, 6 by 12 inches as our inspiration. The one thing, my one big complaint, and I don't know if you can see this, but there is some texture on it. We're gonna also be doing the tissue box, as I mentioned, and this one is kind of what I was hoping for. It's very smooth, and this is ready for paint. On the end here, there's some kind of rough spackling. So I feel like we need to get this a little bit smoother. I just want it to be a nice smooth finish because that is what our inspiration one is. So that's what we're gonna do right now. While that is drying up, I also got these from Amazon, and they were a really good price. The shape of it is perfect, and I don't know if you can tell on camera, it's nice, but it doesn't look super high end. So we're gonna rectify this by spraying this in my favorite gold spray paint, which is the 18 karat gold Krylon spray paint. I use this a lot. The little feet that I ordered as well, I'll link all of this below, I got from Amazon, and they're not exactly the same color to begin with, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of not a beautiful rich gold, so we're gonna spray these as well. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my garage door, put on a face mask, and make sure there's some good circulation in here while we spray paint this. So that's up next. That looks so much better than it did. It's just a lot less plasticky looking even. I don't know what to say, but it looks way better. Okay, it's dry. We're gonna sand this, and then once we've got it nice and smooth, we are going to spray paint it in a satin black. Doing that putty was an absolute waste of time. All I needed to do was sand. Should have known, but you know, it looked like it had deep grooves, and now we're just gonna go ahead and paint this. I got to be honest with you, I am not overly thrilled with the paint finish on these boxes. Let me show you. It's just kind of uneven. You can see right there really well. And you can kind of see the knots in it there. And it is possible that if I were to do a third coat of the spray paint, it could maybe work. Do you see the unevenness on that? If I'm gonna do a third coat, I'm gonna use something that I'm a little more confident in that will get me the results that I want. And I just know that it will give me a prettier finish. And so if I'm gonna paint, I'm gonna use something that I know is gonna work. So I am gonna actually use this emerald paint that I found. And I'm gonna try like a sponge brush to begin with. And I have a roller here if I think we need it. So let's start. I see some like brush strokes, even though this is like a sponge brush in it, but I'm hoping that as it dries, it will kind of settle. It typically does. And so that's what I'm hoping for, and there we go. So now it's time to finish our black boxes and our tissue box and add all the fun embellishments. It's gonna be so amazing. So I got like a bunch of different types of washi tape. I got many from Amazon and some from Hobby Lobby. I will link all the ones that I considered, and I will especially link this one that I'm gonna end up using. So this one just kind of looked a little bit more high-end to me. So you can see right here, it's just a really high-end. What's interesting about it is it has like a tape that peels off on the back instead of just being like a sticky tape. And we're gonna do that along all of the edges, and then once we get that on, we will attach the feet to the bottom of this one, because that's the one that this one comes with, and then we'll work on the tissue box. So I bought this in a set of 3 with a thicker, a medium, and a thin one. I think now, after consulting the pictures, we're gonna go with the thinnest one, and we're gonna do that on all of the edges, like every corner on every side. And so it should be kind of fun, therapeutic. Let's do it. Doesn't that look good? Woo! Before we finish off that long box, we're gonna go ahead and do the gold tape on here. And I learned from that, we're gonna do the vertical lines first, and then we can cover up the edges with the one that wraps around the top and the bottom, so. Now we're gonna run it around the entirety of the top. But first, let's get rid of some of this excess paper. And now it's time to put the feet on. And we are just going to set them on the corner like so. And we'll start with those 2, and then we're gonna very carefully screw these in. You know what, my drill bit might be too big. I might have to go get a tiny little screwdriver. I don't know if this is gonna be strong enough to get it in. It's not very high powered, but the drill bit is tiny, so we're gonna try. Okay. Now to get on these little handle things, we are going to be using a 5-minute epoxy kit. Now we just need to mix our kit. And how you do that is there's these little things that you have to break off on the inside. And then cut that off. And then you squeeze the contents of both sides, maybe. And then you take like a popsicle stick, or in this case, I just grabbed a bamboo skewer, and you stir it up. And then you have 5 minutes. So we're going to very carefully center. I'm going to squeeze some of this construction adhesive on. Okay, so I've taped those on while it's drying. And the reason I didn't go with screwing it on is because it came with much longer screws and I just didn't have shorter screws. And so we're gonna go with that. I am thrilled with the end results. I am absolutely thrilled. I love it. I would say this might be my closest dupe I have ever done, because it looks exactly, in my opinion, like the $120 version that we were knocking off. And my DIY version ended up being $15 for all the supplies, including the feet, spray paint, the box, the little lion's head handles, and all of that. $15 versus $120. I like those savings. However, I was not able to find a very suitable for purchase version of this planter box. So if you really like this look, you will probably need to DIY it, but I hope that you've seen that it is super easy and you can totally do this, and you too will have a beautiful box. By the way, this does come in some other colors, white, and I think there might have been like a taupey color. You can switch out the colors. I personally love the black and gold. I think it looks great with my decor and everything. And you can use this for greenery. You can use this as a box to store other things. I don't know. I put some flowers in mine. I love it, and I think it's great. Now for the tissue box. This one turned out fantastic as well. I love the way it looks. And our final cost on the tissue box was only $8.50 versus that $58 for the more expensive version. This was easy to do. I did find one that looked similar-ish, you know, a tissue box. It did not have the lion's head on it, but you could pick that up on Amazon for about $20. I think it was like $19.90. And then maybe you could throw on a couple of those lion head details and just glue those on, because I think this is just a very elevated tissue box look. I mean, very bougie looking, but not with that bougie price tag of our inspiration one. So it's kind of fun, and I hope you enjoyed those two projects. This next project was awesome. It was so easy, and I probably could have included it in my recent Dollar Tree vase video. If you haven't seen that one, I will put the link for that in the description box below, because there was a lot of Dollar Tree cylinder vase ideas. This one could have totally gone in that episode. However, we're gonna do it in this one. So this one was inspired by Pottery Barn's Meredyth vases. Now this is a set of 9 vases for $179. And I thought they looked really beautiful, but $179 is a lot of money, and I knew we could do it for a lot less. We are going to be taking 3 different sizes of Dollar Tree vases, and the first step is spray painting them in a white high gloss spray paint. And once those dry, I'll show you what we're gonna do next. I'm trying this one out. It's kind of crazy, maybe a little overkill, but I think I need to adjust it a little bit, but we're gonna give it a whirl. Coat number 2. Luke, I am your father. Now we're gonna paint the bases of these vases. And I went back and forth on the color to pick for this, and I ultimately went with Iced Coffee by Folk Art in a matte finish. I actually went and picked out a whole bunch, but I actually have a real Pottery Barn vase that's kind of a similar idea with the clay pot exposed. And so I kind of went with the one that matched to me the closest to that, so that we'd get something similar. So hopefully it's good. So all we're gonna do is take a chip brush, brush it on the bottom, and we will be done with this project. The cool thing about this is it does not need to be exact. It's very organic and natural. And the rough edge just is part of the look. And some of them can be lower and some of them can be higher. So like this one I might take up a little higher than that last one because all of them were at different levels. I am so happy with the results. I wouldn't be surprised if I made 6 more to go with it because I think it's super cute and so convincing. I'm really happy with the color that I ended up putting on the bottom of the vase. I think it was spot on. And each one of these vases ended up being around $2 and some change. So for all 9 vases, if you were to make all 9, your cost would be $18.25. Such a steal in comparison to the $180 of the Pottery Barn version. Now you could even do it for less if you're able to find some really good deals on vases like this at the thrift store even, because you can find cylinder vases at the thrift store all day, every day, and you might even be able to do it for even less. And I just love how this turned out. I think this is a really close dupe and so easy to do. So this is my authentic Pottery Barn piece that I found at the thrift store. And that is our dupe. Looks like it could have been a set almost. However, if you didn't want to make them and you just wanted to buy something that was almost identical, literally almost identical, I did find one that honestly I really couldn't tell the difference between on Amazon, but it was $95. But that's almost half of what the Pottery Barn was, so maybe you can justify it. It is a beautiful set. They're probably actually ceramic instead of glass, and so if you want to get that look, don't buy the Pottery Barn version, buy the cheaper one on Amazon for $95. Pocket that extra $85 for something else, and you will get the almost, I'm convinced it's the same thing. I don't know. You be the judge. Our next inspiration is another Pottery Barn item, which is the Merling Grasscloth box. Now, these are beautiful, but they were so expensive. In fact, the one that we're gonna be recreating is the smaller version. It was $169 for one tiny little box.
That's outrageous.
I set out to recreate that, and I'm gonna do it 2 different ways. Okay, so I've got these 2 different boxes because I wanted to show you 2 different options. So this is just a gift box that I got on clearance from Christmas. So it was like 80% off, which makes it, I don't know, it's 20, like $1. This one just has a traditional lid. And then this one is a wood box, so it's a little bit higher quality. What I like about it is that the lid lines up with the base, so there's no overlap. And then also I have this peel and stick grass cloth looking wallpaper, so it's not actual grass cloth. We're gonna just put these on the boxes. We'll start with this gift box.
When the fire never ends. Do you remember that night, you and me in the dark?
The gift box version that we got on clearance was $1.50. Now, what I will tell you about that one is you could see like the pattern through a little bit. So I would recommend painting it out white if it's got a weird pattern on it prior to wrapping it. I'm gonna approach this one a little bit different, meaning I'm gonna just straight edge blade around here and not wrap it over because of the way the lid is. And so, the wooden version ended up being about $6 to recreate using an actual wood box. So I love that. That is very affordable, and it looks really, really good. You could recreate this using real grass cloth. I imagine it's gonna be very expensive, so buying a roll of that to do this tiny little project probably wouldn't make sense unless you were gonna do other things with it. I also have another like peel and stick contact paper.
And I actually would recommend this one. If you can see in comparison, this one really has like a grass cloth texture, so I think this would be a really good option as well. So I'll link that below.
I hope you like my version. I love it. I definitely think that this is a really decorative piece that you could put in a bedroom, in your living room, or just wherever it's good to have. However, if you don't want to DIY this, I didn't find an actual grass cloth box, but I did find a box that looked similar that had like a woven texture on it, and it was a set of 2 from Hobby Lobby. The regular retail price on that is $40, but they are constantly running 50% off, so just wait for it to go 50% off. Then you can get 2 boxes for $20, making them $10 a piece. I will link those in the description box below if you just like the look and don't want to do the DIY. Now, I hope you had fun with this episode. I hope it was fun to kind of see the inspiration version, the DIY version, and maybe show you how you can also purchase similar items without doing any DIY. If you enjoyed this episode, then you're gonna really love these 25 dupe ideas. Up next, click on that. And I just also want to remind you that you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.